And welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Bubba and the Bloom, episode 304. Continuing our position by position preview for the 2026 fantasy baseball season. Heading to first base this evening. We'll recap some recent news and much, much more. But before we get to that, you can find me on Twitter at BDentric, the podcast at Bubba Bloom Pod, on Patreon at patreon.com/Bubba Bloom, and my co-host, as always, on Twitter at RyanBHQ. Ryan Bloomfield, how we doing, my friend?
Pretty good. Read a nighttime story to my kids, to my boys tonight about Ted Williams. It was a really good book, but man, couldn't stop thinking about Uncle Ted while I was reading it, and so it's just a bad place to be. I'm on tilt, man.
Rent free.
Yep. Exactly. Outside of that, no, good. It's been raining a ton up here in Oregon, but should clear out for the Oregon James Madison game on Saturday. So I'm looking forward to catching a live playoff game in person. That's going to be fun.
A live playoff exhibition game. It'll be really cool to see in person. But yeah, I know that'll be awesome. I bet Otson will be rocking for that one.
It will. It's crazy. I mean, James Madison it's 2 hours from Virginia Tech. My sister went there. I've got a lot of old friends that went to JMU. So it's really weird that they're actually playing a playoff game in Oregon, 20 years later, that I'm even in Oregon, and then James Madison's coming here. But yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah, no, it'll be awesome. I can't wait to hear how it goes, because I've done the Rose Bowl a few times, which I always thought was pretty awesome. But I haven't done a college football playoff. That's one of those that has not happened, because since that came into existence, the Badgers haven't
the Badgers,
been very good.
Not quite.
They haven't been good. They had a great run for a while there, not so much now. So
was your Rose Bowl? Were your Rose Bowls all Badgers?
Yes, and I'm 0-3.
Yeah. 2 to the Ducks, right?
I saw Andy Dalton beat them on a 2-point conversion with TCU.
Yeah,
that was a hell of a game. They've all been good games. Also, that was then there was Russell Wilson versus, I think, was it Mariota or no? It was Russell Wilson. You had that fast as hell wide receiver.
Of course,
half the team flew around, but that was a back and forth battle. And then can't remember what the third one was. I kind of blacked that one out. But yeah,
like you don't know the year, the team they played, anything.
Well, they were like 2 years apart each time. It was kind of a boom, boom, boom. It was a good run. It was fun while it lasted, and maybe one day I'll be back again, but not anytime soon. Yeah, should be fun for you. I'm looking forward to hearing how that goes. You mentioned the rain; it keeps staying just north of us, but it looks like we're going to start getting a bunch come like Sunday, Monday for like the entire next week. So just in time for all the family to come visit and be locked into my house. So I'm pumped for that one. Just absolutely pumped for that. That's just what I dream of when it comes to the holidays. So
yeah, shouldn't be stressful at all.
No, it's going to be just absolutely fantastic. I'm glad my wine shipments for the month
I was going to say,
it's going to be very helpful in that regard.
Let's get some red in here. Let's get some red.
Yeah, it's going to, Well, this one bottle for me, one bottle for you guys. Yes, it's going to be absolutely outstanding. Other than that, life is good. Got a couple announcements before the news and notes for you guys. Just a reminder, we have with the holiday seasons, we both have some pretty wild schedules is the best way I'll say it. It's like when Ryan's open, I'm not, and vice versa. Right now, it's kind of a bad combo. So this will be your last live show of the year. You'll have at least one recorded show in each of the next 2 weeks. We're trying to figure out how to do more, but it's going to be tough, is what we're going to say. So you'll have at least one pre-recorded show each of the next 2 weeks. You have 2 more shows before the season's over, but no more live shows until after the new year. Just giving you a heads up on that one. We want to make it work. It's just not logistically probably possible at this point in time. The other thing, it's December 18th, which means we're about a month and a half away from starting our listener leagues, which means signups will be coming very, very soon, as in like start letting us know tomorrow if you'd like. We'll get a more formal sign up coming your way after the new year, but we want to lock everything in by the middle of January. So the NFBC has time to set everything up. For those that don't remember, our listener leagues are 15-team auction leagues. They're $50 to get into. We have your money goes to the individual league prizes, but then there'll be overall prizes and everything for the entire Cha-Cha. Last year we had 10 leagues.
Yep.
We'll see how many we have this year. The stipulation, you have to be a Patreon member, free or paid, and you have to have a rating and review on iTunes, preferably of the 5-star variety. iTunes or Spotify, you decide. I don't care. But you have to have a rate and review and a Patreon membership, free or paid, preferably paid. But we're not going to be complete jerks along those lines.
No.
But that'll get you eligible to play. I'll let Ryan continue on with the eligibility, so I don't talk all of this. But I know there's a few more things we talked about.
Yeah, I mean, there's not too much more on top of that. I mean, they are an absolute blast. I ran a weekly column last year, just kind of doing standings updates and kind of shouting people out. It's a really fun way to get involved with our listeners and get in the league with folks. We do not promote this outside of the show. It is a true listener league. You won't see promotions of it on Twitter or anything. If you're interested in joining, for now, we're just going to get a head count just to kind of see when we work with the NFBC on on the number of leagues. We're trying to get a head count for now, and then there will be a more formal sign up process where you can actually say which dates you're available and whatnot shortly in the new year. So keep an eye out for that, but just let us know. Either one of us, either on Twitter. If you're in the Patreon, you can message us through Patreon. You can email the show, bubbabloom.pod@gmail.com, and just let us know that you're interested. Sign up to the Patreon, paid or free. Show us the review, and you will be good to go. A lot of you probably already left reviews, so if you already have, that's fine. No big deal. And yeah, we'll talk more about it, but it's a really good way. Like a lot of the auction leagues on the NFBC are a little bit more higher stakes. This is just, it's $50. It's a ton of fun. I think 7 of the 10 listener leagues last year, the auction was live streamed by friends of ours that were in each league. So it's just a real kind of community aspect around it. Live standings are on the NFBC, so you can see how you're doing with the overall. Last year we had an overall prize sponsored by Baseball HQ, a trip to First Pitch Arizona registration. Don't know what it'll be this year, but we will have some type of overall prize as well as prizes for the leagues as well. So keep an eye out. Let us know that you're interested for now. We'll get you on the list, and the leagues will run throughout February. Last year was like mid to late February, so we'll see. But more to come on that in the new year. But yeah, man, I'm excited. I remember we put the call out in the Discord earlier today, and people were excited about listener leagues being back.
Yeah. The one thing I will mention, the one last thing is, we mentioned you could be free or paid Patreon. If the league is compacted, the paid people get priority. Could I throw that one out there? That's just fair.
Yeah, you're guaranteed. Yeah, if you're a paid member, you're
guaranteed in if you're paid. So you got that, and then also when Ryan will send out a sheet with like all the dates, you kind of rank them how you're available. Paid members get priority in that regard as well. So just letting you know along the lines, that is, if things get crowded, that's kind of the tiebreaker in the situation.
We are capping the leagues at 10 leagues this year. It's a lot to monitor on the NFBC side. So the first 150 that are in, there will be a limit to how many leagues we have this year. So we'll be 10, and I don't know. I can't wait, man. Me and you are not in every league. Unfortunately for us, we will be in just one league each, but they're fab leagues. I should have mentioned that as well.
Yes.
But yeah, they're awesome.
Yep. Very good stuff. More to come. But again, if you're interested, start letting us know, as we will need to get that ramped up here after the new year. And the sooner we know, the better. That will help us along the way. All right. Some news and notes for you guys. Not as much as we had on Tuesday night's episode, but Michael King, just a little bit before this recording, re-signed with the San Diego Padres, 3-year, $75 million deal. We know Michael King needs a mattress / pillow sponsor these days because things got awkward quick this past season. He had an amazing 2024 that was curtailed in 2025, but apparently he's healthy enough to go and give all this cash to. So where are you at on this Michael King signing? Is, I've been afraid to draft him in every draft I've been in so far.
Just disappointed that I never thought to do like a king size mattress joke at any point last year. That completely slipped through both of our collective heads.
Now he's locked in as a California king.
Yes, now he's locked in as a California king. I like that. I think, I mean, I don't know. You would have to think San Diego has done their due diligence and feels good about King's health. I mean, that's the biggest question, right? Of course, with Michael King is coming off a 73 inning season where he only threw 18 innings in the second half. Like, what does that health look like? This can't be a bad omen, a bad sign for Michael King's health. Is kind of my biggest takeaway. Doesn't mean he's out of the woods. The skills were they were, even before the injury, they were, the surface stats were awesome. 259 ERA, 102 whip in the first half. The expected stuff wasn't as nice. So I don't expect 2024 to come back, but I don't know. This probably moves King up a little bit in my rankings that I haven't done yet, but and I haven't even grabbed Michael King yet in any draft. So I don't really know if I'm in yet or not on King. I think I still want to see some spring training health before I'm going back in here.
That's kind of where I'm at. Like, a lot of the deal is a backloaded deal over the following 2 years. And so I'm kind of wondering if, like, they're just, seeing where things are at and giving their player options, but there's buyouts and other things involved. So we'll see where it goes. But to your point, the fact they're willing to give him this deal makes you feel like he should be okay. Because there's like a nerve issue and stuff. So it's just weird. Just a weird deal last season. Brad Keller, the next 3 moves are potential closers that are not closers anymore. So this market gets weirder and weirder out there. Brad Keller signs with the Philadelphia Phillies. He will obviously help set up Johan Duran with Jose Alvarado and company in tow. That bullpen's filthy, if you think about it, with Duran, Keller, Alvarado, Kirkring. Like, that Phillies team just got real strong real quick over the last couple weeks of signings. Anything on this? Because it's just another one gone.
Another one gone. Yeah, first I was like, man, why'd you even put Brad Keller on the outline? But like, dude's velocity was up 3.5 miles an hour last year. Like, was legitimately a really good pitcher. So this squashes Brad Keller's saves chances, but I think he's still, if you're in the late 15-team draft and he'll want some good ratios, maybe you get a vulture win, a few saves or something. I don't know. Brad Keller is still an option that late.
This one stung. This next 2 actually stung because some of my late spec closers that I was just really gambling on.
I feel like this news segment is basically just Bubba coping that his closer specs haven't panned out. I haven't drafted any of these guys.
Luke Weaver, I was optimistic on, mainly because I heard the Giants were interested. A couple of those like teams that didn't want to spend a lot of money, and he's shown he can close in the past. Well, the Mets signed Luke Weaver. But to no surprise, being the Mets and all, they want to convert him back to the rotation, just like we saw them do with others recently. So it's not an official, but that's what the talk has been once they signed him, because his contract mimics like the Adrian Hausers and some of those other guys that have been signed over the last couple of days. So Luke Weaver could be. So in the end, I spec'd, and I could still get a starter, which might not be that bad if Luke Weaver rejoins the rotation. So something to keep in mind and monitor is he's going to be setting up Devin Williams, or he'll be like the 4th or 5th in that rotation, which is also maybe signaling that a Tong or someone might be getting traded pretty soon.
Yeah, Luke Weaver was a starter, though. I do remember. I mean, Luke Weaver, when he was a starter, was like one of the worst starters in baseball. It was pretty rough. So I think you might just want, for your team's sake, Bubba, you might just want Luke Weaver to stay in the pen. I think volume-wise he could kind of get there, but I don't know how the skills would translate back. Like, there is a major change in skills for Luke Weaver when he went from the rotation to the bullpen, and I don't know if that's going to hold when look at Clay Holmes last year, right? I mean, just
it feels like a Jordan Hicks thing. Like, look at, he does this, so we're going to put him in the rotation again. No.
It's true. This probably smells more of Jordan Hicks than Clay Holmes, which Clay Holmes wasn't even that great last year anyway. So,
and then the last one I'll mention, because this one stings like infinitely more than Luke Weaver, and that's Shawn Armstrong, because he was a post 400 pick. He was a guy that I felt like, why would the Rangers not bring him back? And apparently the Rangers just don't want a closer this year, or somehow Robert Garcia is going to be the guy, which is baffling. Maybe I should start paying attention to that in drafts now. So Shawn Armstrong signs with the Guardians. He will join Hunter Gaddis, Cade Smith in the back of that bullpen. It strengthens that bullpen a ton. There's really no lefty in the bullpen at this point in time, which is crazy to say out loud. Like, literally there's no lefty on roster resource in their bullpen. But Shawn Armstrong joins Cleveland, and another potential closer is gone.
Yeah, sorry for your Shawn Armstrong shares. If you draft Cade Smith in a draft and hold these next couple months, and if you want to handcuff Cade Smith because he doesn't have a lot of career saves, who's your handcuff? Is it Gaddis? Is it Armstrong right now?
I still like Armstrong better personally, but Gaddis was served quite well last year. It wasn't like he filled in where he needed to be, not without much of an issue. I just thought Armstrong was very solid last season. The swing and miss, the everything you want to see from a back end reliever. And then when he got the closing chances in Texas, he looked good. So I'm kind of surprised he got this gig.
Yeah.
All right, now that my therapy session is over, and we don't have catchers.
Shawn Armstrong, Brad
yeah.
Keller, and Luke Weaver. That was that was a riveting news segment.
For those of you that are still sticking with us, thank you. And we don't have catchers to talk about to cheer me up. So yeah, let's go to first base, where it's not third base bad, but it's good, but it's rough at the same time once we get to past a certain tier. Is what I'll try to loosely say. We're going to do the same format as the previous week. So Ryan, let people know what we're looking at, give them an idea, and then we'll get after it.
All right, yeah. So similar for same format as catchers. We're showing any first base eligible. Probably should have left out the catchers, but whatever. Got the ADP right now from the last month of 15 team drafts. Your top 30 first baseman is what we're showing here with their ADP, along with their projections from Fangraphs depth charts, which is publicly available over at Fangraphs. I mean, I'll say a couple thoughts macro level. I'll turn it back to you, Bubba, but it seems pretty top heavy first base this year. You definitely have like a top three that's like similar to last year. It's a different three names, but you've got Kurtz, Vlad, and Pete Alonso that are top 30 picks. But then you also basically have the top, I don't know, roughly 10 first basemen are going pretty much in the top 100. Michael Busch is your 11th first baseman off the board if we don't count Salvador Perez going at 108. So there's a pretty good / expensive group of first basemen in the top 10, and we'll talk through those guys tonight. I feel like the middle class there is no middle class of first base. You've got Michael Busch at ADP 108. You've only got one guy, Yandy Diaz at 137. Then it goes all the way down to Jonathan Aranda at 176. So there is only one first baseman going in a span of like 60 picks from 110 to 170. And then there's a decent if you want to wait at first base, or if you're trying to fill corner at first base, I think there's a couple decent options around 200 that you can go back to. But just have that in your mind, especially if you're in a 15 team league. If you aren't one of the 10 out of 15 teams that don't get, a top 10 first baseman, you are waiting until almost pick 200 to grab your starting first baseman. And that's just something when you're trying to plan out your draft, plan out your strategy for the position, just something to keep in mind there is that you're kind of either all in on the position or you're out.
Yep, you are in or you're out. You do the hokey pokey and you show yourself. But yeah, it's a very top heavy position. That's kind of what I was trying to say with my gibberish before I handed it off to you. I don't mind some of that like second tier guys in 15 through say 25-ish, give or take. But even like let's say after 21, 22, it starts to get murky again. So it's definitely a couple pockets I like. And we did this last year at first base. It didn't turn out to our liking, but there are definitely a couple pockets that I'm much more interested in. Tons of power up top, like the top 6 guys are all projected for over 30 home runs. So that's a plus.
Yep.
If you go 13 deep, they're almost all 25 or more home runs projection wise. So that's a great spot there. But when it comes to speed, like Josh Naylor is the highest projected steal guys. I think we're all still kind of like, is he really doing that again? Like is he? He's probably, but we don't know. Other than that, it's like Bryce Harper and Spencer Steer, your 2 double-digit steals projection. So it's strictly a power base, and not a lot of average really either, unless you like the 260 range, which isn't bad, but no like elite averages as well. So very much just a power position.
Yep. A lot of power on that left side of the bloom board that we're looking at.
Which kind of makes me like, there's a reason I keep trying to take one of the top 3 guys. It seems like every draft I'm in, just because it gives me power, kind of a stable floor at batting average, and that power coincides with runs and RBIs. So we will talk about that here shortly as we break this down, because the top 3 are a definitive 3, as you mentioned, Ryan. And over the last 30 days, we have a tie for first, and it's kind of shifted because Ryan puts it in order based on the numbers. Nick Kurtz is number 1 right now at the position. That has not been the case most of the draft season. He's been number 2, but he's creeping up the board, or Vladdy's falling. One of the two. You pick your poison. Nick Kurtz has an ADP of 19, coming off that monster rookie of the year season, 36 home runs, hit 290 while striking out nearly 31% of the time. One thing is not like the other, folks. We've had this conversation a ton with Nick Kurtz. Like, do we believe he's very good? Yes. Do we believe the average is sustainable? Probably not. So where are you at on Nick Kurtz at ADP 19?
Right. And it's not so much. Yeah, I think we all know the average isn't sustainable, 286. It's like, how unsustainable is it? Yeah. Is Nick Kurtz going to hit 260, which is what the projection here is showing? Or you mentioned the near 31% strikeout rate for Nick Kurtz last season. Could it be 230, which would be a problem for me? We don't need to talk too much about Nick Kurtz, but it's similar to our discussion yesterday or last show about Cal Raleigh. It's like, are you willing to go there with a top 20 pick, like early second round? For me, it's you're getting a guy who tons of power, runs RBI, should be there, love the park. Could even be another level given how young Nick Kurtz is. I'm just not going to take a 4, potentially 3 category guy with my second round pick and first at the position. So I've got Nick Kurtz 3rd at first base, actually. I think he's very similar to Pete Alonso, who's going 8 picks later. Same barrel rates between those two, and Alonso strikes out actually a lot less than Nick Kurtz does, which again isn't saying that much given Kurtz's gargantuan strikeout rate. So I'm probably not going to end up with many or any Nick Kurtz in draft, just given the price. Like, I'm going to take Vlad over him.
Yeah, no, I have 1 Nick Kurtz share through 9 drafts. It was my most recent draft, and I got him with the 2, 4, 6, the 8th pick in round 2 of a 50, so the 20th pick overall.
So Vlad was gone. Was Alonso available?
Vlad went right after. I was doing something different in this draft. It's like I have a lot of the picks are different because I primarily have Vlad or Alonso in almost every draft I've done. Like I've been, like I said, I've been very adamant of taking his first basemen early, because one thing when we kind of looked back on our teams last year is batting average is always a concern, which makes me like Vlad a little more this year than I usually have.
Yep.
But I'm always power deficient, and I just see like what Pete does, and that's why I want to give Kurtz a chance on at least one or couple. Like, it's the old Guilds method. I've podcasted with Guilds enough where it's like some of these guys, if he is this good, like he could shoot through the roof in that ballpark, and we see a whole different level to him type thing. So I'm not going to have a ton of Kurtz by any means, like not a chance. But I had to get 1 share, and might be my last share. We'll see. But I have a ton of Vladdy and a ton of Pete's probably my favorite one in this group. But we both have Kurtz 3rd. A friend of ours has him 1st for a project we're working on. So it's good to see, looking at that board, that we have that going.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Vladito, who is now basically tied with Kurtz at like 1B at the position is what I'll call it, ADP of 19. Vladdy's the question with Vladdy every single year is, will he hit for power? Like, it was 23 home runs last year, 30, 26, 32, 48. Like, if he could somehow just get me 30, we're good, because the counting stats will be there, and most importantly, the average still hit 292 in a down power season. He plays like over 156 games every single season, which is another reason I love Vladdy. Where are you at on Vladito? Because I've never been a Vlad guy, but the more I sit back, I guess I get older, and boring is really beautiful, and he is very beautiful.
Yeah, the only hitter in Major League Baseball with 680 plus plate appearances in each of the last 5 seasons. Like, he's a plate appearance volume god, and he's also a batting average god. And so, like, I just the way I like to build teams is I love to get an early batting average base. And given that Vlad is probably a 300 hitter, and he does it for almost 700 plate appearances every year, it's kind of that double whammy of that batting average core. So Vlad's my number 1 guy. You mentioned kind of the down power year last year. Vlad still finished 33rd on the player rater, but on the Fangraphs player rater. And I don't know, I think a lot of the times if I pick someone 20th overall and he finishes 33rd, that's fine. That's not going to kill you. Yeah. And so, like, I don't I don't know if like you started off with like the question is the power, like I think the power ship has sailed, especially like the 2021 power where he had 48 home runs. Even if Vlad just gets mid-20s home runs again with everything else that he does and the volume and the consistency, I mean, this is just the profile I like to build in my second pick. So Vlad's my number one. I just like everything he does. Just wish he'd hit a few more fly balls, but just at this point, I don't think it's happening.
Yeah, I doubt a shift is going to take place at this point in his career, unfortunately. But that leads me to Big Meat Pete, the polar bear, who last year hit 38 home runs. That was 5 straight seasons of 30 or more home runs. If you take out COVID, it's been 34 or more home runs every season he's been in the major leagues, which is pretty great to see. He's had over 100 RBIs in 4 out of 6 major league seasons. Hit 272 last year after a couple down seasons, because prior to that was 271, 262. He's hit 260. So I think he's like a 255, 260 guy, maybe 270. The power's insane. So I guess the difference is, do you, with Vladdy and Pete, obviously, a ton more power, which could mean a lot more counting stats, or do you want the average? Which one is it? So that's where I've been leaning Pete, honestly. It just, so depending on which drafts I have the two, am I at the back end on KDS or the front end? That's pretty much depends on which one of those guys I get. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I mean, all else equal, I'd take Pete over the other two just because you're getting him later in the second round, maybe even early third round. So, So yeah, I mean, you want to talk about, and that is the question. I think Pete Alonso is just as stable as Vlad is. I mean, and he's been at 680 plus in 3 of the last 4 seasons, 695 2 years ago, 709 plate appearances, pretty much same barrel rate as Nick Kurtz last year, and I think 8 points better on the K rate. Doesn't have the park that Nick Kurtz plays in, but and then you add on the ability for Pete Alonso to rack up this volume, which I think is a skill, and do it year over year. Like, it's just, it's nothing against Kurtz, really. It's just he hasn't had the chance to prove he can do this and do the volume that Vlad and Alonso have done for years. And that's where I'm at with it.
Well, that's how you and I operate a lot. You even more so than me, is got to prove it, like, type thing. And now it's the old adage with Kurtz, you're paying for a career season in his rookie season. It might not be a career season. We might look back and say it's not, but that's all we have to go off of, to your point. So,
and it happens. I mean, I remember being at First Pitch Arizona 10, 12 years ago, and Chandler was up there. This was after Mike Trout's first breakout season, and was like, what are the odds that Mike Trout has a year that he just had? I think this was 2012. And that turned out to be Mike Trout's career year in terms of fantasy value. Was like his first full year.
Yep. That makes a ton of sense. All right, the 4th first baseman off the board, Bryce Harper, has an ADP of 52. Bryce Harper, for those keeping track at home, will be 33 this year. He's getting up there in age. Hit 261 last year with 27 homers and 12 steals. So the power came back. The power's been back, but he had a couple of rough seasons. Steals were back up with Harper. That's why he's projected for 10. Kind of checks out with him. Hit 261, one of the lower averages in the last couple of years. They played 132 games. That's my biggest thing. We just talked about Alonso and Vlad, who play. Harper finds ways to the IL a lot. And I'm not saying that happens, but at his price point, it makes it tricky, Ryan.
It does, and that's my biggest thing against Harper at this point, is just you have to bake in some type of injury. It's been an IL stint for Bryce Harper in each of the last 5 seasons, but honestly, I mean, you covered it pretty well. And to actually put some numbers to this, if Bryce Harper stayed healthy, if I give him, let's say I give him 680 plate appearances, again, probably not going to happen, but if I did, at the projections that Bryce Harper has, he is right there with Nick Kurtz and Vlad Guerrero as the number 1 projected first baseman. So it's really just all about the health. And I think the shallower the league that you're in, I think the more I would be willing to go for Bryce Harper, because you can replace that period of time where Harper's out. But from a skill standpoint, I think he's just as strong as kind of he's ever been. And the running is an underrated asset, especially at first base, where nobody runs outside of Josh Naylor, pretty much.
The only question I have is he's looking like McConaughey in True Detective, or he's part of Dallas Buyers Club. I can't quite figure it out yet with his.
What?
You see the blood kind of transfusion stuff he's doing.
I did see that. Yes, I forgot about that.
Yeah, and his face looks all like thin and disheveled. I'm like, what do we got going on here? But hey, who knows? He's got money. He's probably happy.
I
He's probably
forget
just
what
fine.
want to say. Like 30% of his blood they
Yeah, got
took
taken
out
out
of him, and
yeah.
they, I don't know, did some crap to it and put it back in him.
Yeah, it's got to be
Kind of
completely
shaky,
on the
man.
up and up, all on the up and up. Yeah, so
Like, I don't think I'd. Would you sign up for anything that they says I'm going to take 30% of the blood out of you?
I don't know. Never mind. Never mind. I'm gonna stop there. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if you take the 30% fat with it. We could talk. I might be open to this.
Yeah, that might be.
We might be an 11 instead of a 10.
Might be worth it then.
So, yeah. All right, let's go to the guy going right after Bryce Harper. That's Matt Olson at 53, and this is where like deciding between the two. We just mentioned the inconsistency in playing time with Harper. Olson 162, 162, 162, 162, 156. That's outstanding. Like ridiculously good. Pretty 29 or more home runs every single season. Average is back up to 272 last year. It's been an every other year with the batting average with Olson. But his play discipline's been consistent. He's just a steady, consistent force. Like if you like boring is beautiful and you don't want one of the top three, but you still want one of the early ones, Matt Olson's pretty darn good in that realm.
Yeah, it's weird. This is maybe just a bias for me, but I think of Matt Olson as this strikeout guy with low batting averages. And like you said, it's buoyed the last few years. I mean, 3 of the last 5 seasons, Matt Olson has hit over 270. Like not even a, not a liability, but an actual batting average asset. So like, I don't know, man. If I'm being rosy on Matt Olson, like what's the difference between Matt Olson and Alonso and Kurtz?
There's not much. I think that's one of the things we talked about last year when we were looking at the projections. Like they were throughout the pockets. It's not far off. Like Alonso, I feel more confident in hitting 35 to 45 home runs.
Yeah.
Not saying Olson can't. I'm not. We've seen it. I'm just more confident Pete just does that, and then his counting stats will be higher. That's the only difference for me. But Olson can do it. If Olson runs hot, he could do it.
Olson can do it. I mean, he did it in 2023. Matt Olson hit 52 home runs. I mean, that's 3 years ago. Like that's not that long ago. I mean, I'm guessing the price is lower because Matt Olson has hit 29 home runs in each of the last 2 seasons. So
exactly,
it's a little bit. But like I could be convinced that Matt Olson ends up just as good, if or not better than Alonso or Kurtz, and he's going 30 picks later, and 30 picks later in the beginning of the draft. Like that's a big difference.
It's a big dollar value difference.
It's just interesting. I try and kind of take my bias out when I look at Matt Olson, because I just think he's this low batting average guy. But I mean, I think he's right there with Alonso. I think he's right there.
Yep. No, I 1,000% agree. And it's like the same with Rafael Devers. I know people have their thoughts on him, but he's another dude. He's a consistent batting average guy. Like I know last year was 252. We talked a ton about like the struggles he had, but he finished insanely strong. The swing and miss was much different last year. We've done a deep dive on Rafi on like the first base or third base review shows, but he still hit 35 home runs. That's the most he's hit since 2021. Drove in 100 plus runs, almost scored 100. Like the dude's a beast. He's ballpark proof. We talked about that stuff. Him and Olson, like there's a reason when my rankings come out, Harper is not in the realm with these guys. And it's more of a just consistency in playing time because Devers plays almost every day too. Like he's just an absolute beast in that regard also.
Yeah. So you've got Bryce Harper below Olson and Devers?
Yes, I'm looking at our sheet right now. I have, our buddy that's going with us has him at 8 with me. You have him at 4.
This unnamed buddy. I don't know about this guy.
Yeah, smart guy.
Shaky. Yeah, I don't know. You could kind of keep playing this game. Like if Devers is the same as Olson, then transitively is Devers the same as Alonso and Kurtz. Like,
so I guess the name of the game is: do you not take one of the first 3, and then push your other guy up around and take him in like the 40s and still get a beast?
Yeah, and I mean, from a volume standpoint, Devers is. I mean, he played trivia 163 games. last year. Played an extra game because of the trade. Just did not miss a single game. For me, and I could be wrong on this, I don't know if the power ceiling is as high as like an Alonso, Olson, Kurtz for Devers. You may disagree with that, and that's fine. So that's why I have Devers a tick below the rest of those guys. And I also don't like the way the strikeout rate is trending with Rafael Devers. Could go one of two ways. Like, it's been going down every single year. Most likely, actually, the strikeout rate's been going up over the last few years. That trend does it continue? Or, I mean, Devers could revert back to, a few years ago, and he was actually a batting average asset. So I'm kind of talking out both ends here, but I've got Devers a little bit below Olson, Harper, Alonso types.
Yeah, Devers hit 20 of his home runs, of his 35 home runs with the Giants. He joined them on June 17th, a little over half the season, but he's hit 15 with the Red Sox, 20 with the Giants. So the power is the power to me. I've had to defend that to a few people.
So you think the power is right there with like Alonso and Olson?
I still think there's no one that matches Alonso in this range. I feel like he's hit 50 plus home runs. These guys aren't hitting 50 plus home runs. Like, we saw Olson do it. I'm wrong. We saw Olson do it, but I'm much more confident Alonso could do that.
Yeah. And Olson, Michael sees in the chat as well. When you look at Olson's 2023, he says, looks like an outlier for home runs per plate appearance. Not to say he's a bad value, but that is true. Matt Olson's 2023 was,
well, let's not forget 2023 is when the Braves went nuclear.
Yeah.
So it was, the whole team was just blasted off.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of factors involved there. But yeah, we'll see. It's a good that the top 6 is strong. Let's see if you think Ben Rice, the 7th off the board, ADP 58 fits. Now, I'll say this much: his ADP is at 58 because he's got catcher eligibility.
Yeah,
his stat line looks great as a catcher. As a first baseman, it's still good, but is it this good? Because he had 255, 26 homers, and 138 games. His first kind of full run at the big league level. He's supposed to be the everyday guy. Might get some days off versus lefties. He did play a bunch of lefties late, so hopefully that's a thing of the past. But he did hit 26 home runs in 133 games. So he's almost in line with Olson and company in that regard, just a lower batting average. So where are you at on Ben Rice here? Because like I said, I feel like it's just a catcher-induced ADP, but who knows?
No, it totally is. So it's interesting. Ben Rice isn't going to get the number of plate appearances that an Alonso, Olson, Devers, Vlad is going to get just from playing catcher. You're not going to get 700 unless you're Cal Raleigh. So from an actual like projection standpoint, Ben Rice is more like in the comps to like Tyler Soderstrom, Alec Burleson types. So that's more roughly like first baseman 15, something like that. So yeah, you're drafting Ben Rice as a catcher. We talked about Ben Rice on the catcher show. So go back to that one and get our takes on that one.
Yep, most definitely. Now we go to Ryan's guy. Like, it's just
Let's
a thing
go
here. But with age, he's slowly falling down the ADP ladder, and kind of rightfully so. Still one of the top 10. Not going to argue that, but he used to be like the top 1, 2, or 3 for a while there. Freddie Freeman has an ADP of 67 right now, the 8th first baseman off the board. Between slips in the shower and other instances last year, he played on 147 games, 24 homers, still hit 295 through all that, which is rather impressive, all things considered. He'll be 36 this year, which is another thing that I don't think everyone pays attention to. He's getting old. Another reason Ryan loves him.
Yeah, man. You say like that's a bad thing.
No, where are you at on this, though? Because I just still don't. I'm just not drafting him. And I don't know. Maybe I'll regret it.
Why?
I'd rather have Vinnie P.
I mean, so Freeman, for as quote unquote bad as he was last year, was a finished 37th on the Fangraphs Player Rater.
Okay.
That's among hitters, 37th hitter. So I should clarify that. But that's pretty much right where Freddie Freeman's going. So if Freddie Freeman just repeats what he did last year, you've got it. You've even got some built-in profit. So I liked that Freddie Freeman, he stole 6 bases last year only, but all 6 were in the second half. I think there is some stickiness to that. He was a perfect 6 for 6. So I would actually take the over on 7 bags from Freddie Freeman, which is what the projection is showing. And I don't know. I swore him off last year once he slipped in the shower, punctured a rib. said I'd be out, but I'm back in. I think the price is just fine. I don't think Freddie Freeman's going back to top tier, but he doesn't need to be top tier at an ADP of 67. I think you're paying a pretty reasonable price for someone who, like isn't going to play every day anymore. You're going to have some off days, but he did last year, and he would have returned a profit at this price last year. And I just don't see from a skills perspective, with that lineup context being just as good as it's been, I think Freddie Freeman's a fine buy at this stage.
That's fine. Yeah, he's a good floor play. That's the way I look at Freddie Freeman. I'm not going to disagree with that, but again, we'll talk about him again shortly. Josh Naylor is the 9th first baseman off the board, ADP of 71. Naylor had just a heck of a season. Only the 20 home runs after 31. So people are optimistic there, but still 30 bags. He went 20-30 at first base, which is stupid. Hit 295. Like, and he's hit for average before, not consistently, but before. So it's a combination of is he going to go Ian Happ? Is he going to run, or is he going to hit for power? Which one's it going to be? Like, I know 20. I'll take 20-20 from every first baseman on the planet. 20-30 is groovy, but which one's it going to be with Josh Naylor? And I know he's very good. Don't know which one that is.
Don't know. I think it's a good thing that he re-signed with the Mariners, not just from a Mariners slant, but that's the team that let him run wild in the second half. Will they let him run as wild for an entire season? I kind of doubt it, but this is another one where, like, we just don't know what the stolen base projection is going to be. So you kind of just stick it in the middle at 16. If I plug in 30 bags for Josh Naylor again, if he repeats what he did last year, Josh Naylor is the number 2 first baseman based on projections, given the 270 batting average and 25 home runs, or 265 batting average. Sorry. So I think you know what you're getting in terms of batting average and homers. It's a good lineup. So the runs and RBI will be there. The wild card is the steals. I think Josh Naylor is a good value, even if you assume 16 steals. And I think there's upward mobility with that as well, despite him being slow as hell. So again, if he goes off and steals 30 again, you've got a top first baseman if he just does what he did last year.
Yeah, no, I'm not disagreeing with that at all. I'm so confused on, like, we're sitting there and again, the ADPs are much different, but it's like, who's Nick Kurtz? Well, who's Josh Naylor? Like, what are we getting?
Agreed.
What are we getting in these? But ADP is much different, so I get that. I get the risk reward combination there.
If I do that same exercise, if I moved Naylor back down and give him like 5 steals, he moves down quite a bit. He's more like in the Michael Busch, Yandy Diaz tier.
Yeah.
So it's just all depends on how often Josh Naylor runs. And I mean, we're lying to you guys if we say we know what that answer is going to be. We don't know.
No idea. A guy that I do know I like a lot is Vinnie Pasquantino, this big Sasquatch. Vinnie P's got an ADP of 90. Vinnie P's coming off 32 jacks last year in 160 games, 113 RBIs at 264. So average has been consistent the last 2 years. RBIs have been a machine. Got to play almost 30 more games, and the power is just elite behind it. I love everything about this man. He's gonna be 28 years old. Big fan of Vinnie P. I don't think you're as excited as I am, but I think this is one of those that, as the 10th first baseman at the board, is pretty friendly.
I agree. Is there another level there? Do you think there's another level for Vinnie P?
It's tough. 32 home runs is pretty dang good. 113 RBIs. Like, he's not going to run. Like, he's just not going to. So,
and I don't.
Could he hit 280? Could he hit 280? And then there's another level. That's pretty much like, it comes down to, can you score more runs and hit for a better average? Like, the power in the RBIs, you can't ask for a whole lot more.
Yeah, exactly. Especially, I mean, the Royals lineup isn't getting any better these days.
What do you mean? They keep adding outfielders and stuff, dude? Like, come on. Remember Isaac Collins? I taught you who he was last year. He's now an outfielder with Kansas City.
Know who he was, and then I did. No, I think this is a nice pocket for me because I like the Freddie Freeman price, I like the Josh Naylor price, and I like the Vinnie P price. I think you might be getting someone coming off a career last year, which again is fine, because I think the regress back to what question. I think the regression is going to be pretty soft for Vinnie P. He's someone who always runs really low BABIPs, so like despite a really good K rate, like I don't see Vinnie P hitting much over like 270. I think he's more just like a 260 guy and upper 20s home runs. Like I think that's who he is. And at a price of 90 ADP, that's perfectly fine.
Yep, I love it. Mitch in the chat here says 8.6% barrel rate in first half, 14% in the second half. He got locked in.
That is your argument for, is there another level if that second half barrel rate for Vinnie P stays like that, if he unlocks something, also hit more fly balls in the second half, 45% fly ball rate, 20 homers in the second half.
Well, it makes you wonder if that shoulder injury is feeling better that he had from the previous season.
Yeah.
Yes, this is the one that I was waiting for. I see Vinny very similar to Freddie, maybe more power, fewer runs, stolen bases. I agree. And the 23 pick difference gets me on Vinny every single time. I almost want to make a beer bet with you on these two, really close to doing it. But that might be farther down. I think Vinny's better.
This is the time. The problem is, I like Vinny P. I mean, I didn't say anything bad about him.
No, you didn't. But you love Freddie. You like Vinny. You love Freddie. There's a difference. My daughter likes to remind me that she loves mom. I like you, Dad. I love mom. I get that all the time. So,
and people will do irrational things for people they love.
Exactly. That's why I'm trying to poke the bear. You can think about it. We'll be talking this one throughout draft season. Just now.
Yeah. Let's circle back. End of the show. Let's circle back on that.
Yes. All right, let's get 11 through 20. We'll give a couple that we like here. It goes from ADP 98, as Ryan says, it drops off to 220. So we have 122 pick gap here. Tyler Soderstrom, Salvi Perez, Michael Busch, Yandy Diaz, Jonathan Aranda, Christian Walker, Spencer Torkelson, Alec Burleson, Sal Stewart, Wilson Contreras. Now, I like a few of these guys here. There's also a few I want pretty much not a whole lot to do with. So who's your first one in this range, Ryan?
Before we go there, let's lock it in. Let's lock in the beer bet. Let's do it. I'm pulling up the sheet.
Yeah, because I looked at it before I made the bet last year. Freddie was 33rd. Vinny was 48th.
Chat's on my side. Here. Preservius says Freddie better for batting average. Keegan says I think batting average and runs give Freddie the edge. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, I was going to say Freddie was 33rd on the play rater. Vinny was 48th. So it seems like a big gap, but it was like $1.30 gap. They were pretty darn close when all things were said and done. So you still would have won, but that was last season, and we are doing 2026 now. So I'll take my chances. I made a lot worse bets than this one. So,
and I mean, last draft, Freddie was much more expensive than Vinny P. It wasn't even. It's funny. We talked about the top three. There's a top three again this year, just like there was last year. There's only one of those top three that's been in the top three in each of the last two seasons, if that makes sense. And that's Vlad. Last year's top three was Vlad, Harper, and Freeman. This year,
Freeman's
Vlad.
ADP was 26.9. Vinny's was 119, and Freddie was a buck more than Vinny in the end of the season. That should be a win in Vinny's world.
So a little bit of a refresher on the rules for you, Bubba. When we make a beer bet, it's for the forthcoming season.
Oh, I know. I'm just pointing out that the gap isn't as large as people might think.
Okay. Beer bet's in. It's our third one of the year, followed by Cole Reagans versus Brian Wu. And then total plate appearances from Jordan Alvarez versus Chase DeLauder. Still don't remember how we got to that.
That must have been a high noon podcast or something. Yeah.
Well, high noons do make you do things.
Yes, they do. Yes, they make, as the great poet Chris Martin sings in Coldplay. You get to some high noons can take over the crowd. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, it happens.
All right. 11 through 20, who's your top target?
Yeah, that was way off the rails. I don't know. Oh, it's Christian Walker.
It's right in front of you.
Walker. Christian Walker, I think the price is very nice. Christian Walker is going at a price of 190, projected for 29 home runs and a 230 batting average. So not much difference between Walker and the top tier, except for 30 points of batting average, which is a lot. Batting average is, can be a very wild category though, and it can fluctuate. Christian Walker hit 238 last year, but the previous two seasons was 258 and 251. Really got going in the second half, hit 264, 17 homers, 14% barrel rate in the second half, hits fly balls. Love the park for that power. I think Christian Walker, like, yeah, you might, like, I'm taking the over on this 230 projected batting average. I don't know where that's coming from, but I think Christian Walker is an awesome buy at 190. If you decide to wait on first base and you don't grab one of those top 10 that we've talked about, Christian Walker, I think, is a fine fallback option. Someone who's going to be stable, someone who's going to play a ton and play in what should be a decent lineup in park.
Yeah, I love Christian Walker. I talked about it with Ben on a recent ADP debate. Big fan of where he's going. I was shocked when I saw his ADP at like right next to Torkelson. Like, yeah, the projections are almost identical, so okay. But like, I'll take Walker over Torque all day, every day. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I think much better situation for Christian Walker, especially the batting average. To your point, that 230 seems a little wrong in that regard. Yeah. The first one for me is Michael Busch, ADP of 108. Busch broke out last year, hitting 34 home runs over 155 games, 90 RBIs at 261. We entered last season thinking he was going to platoon with Justin Turner. That did not happen for the 27-year-old in his second full season in Chicago. So his barrel rate increased 6%. His max EV went up 2.5%. Hard hit rate went up 8%. Lots of things to like there. Elevated the ball just a tad bit more, but the home run to fly ball took a massive jump. So maybe there's luck involved. I understand all of those potentials with Busch. We also know the power was chomping at the bit in the minors. The Dodgers had nowhere to put him. Yeah. So this could be who it is. The grain of salt I'll throw on this, because I had to write about him didn't have to. I wrote about him for something that on the Patreon already that's been produced. His home road splits are pretty drastic, which is actually making me like him more, is what I'm going with. He only hit 13 of his 34 home runs at home in Wrigley. He hit 21 on the road, hit for the same average home and away. So still a phenomenal hitter, but a ton more power on the road. Like if he starts getting some more windy days in really positive wise, like there's another level to a potential Michael Busch season. So the fact he kind of underachieved at home and still had a great season, I think is another feather in his cap.
Yeah, man, 20% barrel rate in the second half for Michael Busch. Holy God.
Yeah, no, he opened my eyes a lot when it was one of the bloom boards you gave me to write about. And I was like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, we on the forecaster, we put an upside of 270 and 40.
Yeah, he's got 40 home run power. Like he's you kept asking, like, what's the difference with this guy and Pete and whatever. This is your closest guy to Pete.
That's and I admittedly do need to stop asking that question for every player we bring up. But this is valid. This is completely valid. For some reason I have this bias against Michael Busch because he's like I don't even want to say journeyman prospect. He's an old prospect, but to your point, like they just didn't have with LA, like just didn't have a place to put Michael Busch, and that's not his fault. So, yeah, man. I also think the platoon thing is not that much of a concern for me. The Cubs did just sign some right-handed first baseman today. I'm not
concerned about that.
You're not concerned about some dude?
If that guy takes Busch out of there, then they should just blow the whole freaking Ricketts family apart. Like, that's just foolish. Like, what did Busch do wrong this past season? Nothing. If anything, he proved he should be playing every day. So yeah,
big fan of the Ricketts.
Well, that was for Sarah Sanchez. I've seen every time a move gets made, I see the tweets between her and every other Cubs person on Twitter. So yeah.
Blow the Ricketts family apart.
Well, that'd be just one of the most horrific things I've ever seen. Like, come on, you need so many other pieces on that team. Let's go get a guy that's a former big time prospect that failed with Japan, had an okay couple seasons there, and now he's back. Yeah, okay, that's the guy that's going to take over.
I don't even know who we're talking about. I don't even know the guy's name, but
I can't tell you his name. I just saw tweets about him in the Discord.
All I know is I can't wait for the day next year when Michael Busch sits against a lefty off to hit you up.
Oh, it'll happen. It'll happen.
But
no, I'll play the guy in DFS for $2,000. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. No, I joking aside, I think you're spot on here, and I think the playing time will be there for Busch, and 108 price is pretty nice. The more we talk through this position, man, like that's a really strong crop in this top 100, top 110 at first base.
Yeah, but then it drops, like we said. But
then it drops. So I think You know, again, if I'm making that kind of draft checklist of things I want to accomplish from a team build perspective.
Let me ask you this real quick, because I know you're a Salvi fan. Would you rather have Salvi over Busch?
I mean, I don't know. They're different positions. Like in a vacuum, I'd rather have Busch than Salvi.
Yeah, me too. What about Soderstrom?
Busch.
Okay, that's where I was at. Okay, then we're on the same page there.
Yeah. Yeah, and I like Busch a lot more than like Yandy Diaz, Jonathan Miranda, again, going much later. But I think that cliff at first base at pick 110 right after Michael Busch is valid.
Yeah, I have Busch ranked pretty high in mine as well. So we're on the same page, it looks like. I need to redo my rankings. I don't see it.
I was going to say, in my rankings, do I have Busch over Soderstrom?
No, you have him 10th. You're good. Okay. But I don't have a 10th, so I have to go check that out. Yeah. That's why we have to correct our work. Who's your second person that's 11 through 20?
Keegan corrects us not corrects us, but helps us out here. Tyler Austin is the platoon mate with Michael Busch. Just signed. All right.
Who?
Tyler Austin. Two first names. So.
That was the joke in the Discord. We have a new 2 first names to add to the club.
Yeah. So interestingly enough, my next pick is for a guy is Yandy Diaz. Like I don't know. At 137, he's on an island there at first base, but projected to hit 294. So I again, just at a position where if you need batting average, there's not much to get here. If you don't get like a Vlad, a Bryce Harper, a Freddie Freeman, or potentially a Naylor, Vinnie P, you don't have many more options for batting average at first base. I'm not even counting Luis Arias in the conversation, just given how low he goes. So Yandy Diaz is kind of a little bit of a lifesaver if you need batting average and you have waited on first base. Always has been a really good contact guy. And last season, spiked home runs up to 25. I don't know if he repeats that, especially with going back to the Trop. But if you can get a 300 hitter, 20 home runs, Yandy Diaz is perfectly cromulent as a high floor pick if you need batting average.
Nope, that makes sense. That makes a ton of sense. I've always had a tough time with Yandy's because I think the power won't play as well back in the Trop, but the average is ridiculous. So he's a corner infielder over a first baseman for me, but I get it. The guy I'm kind of warming up to about taking a chance on here because it feels like the playing time is actually safer than I originally thought as draft season began is Sal Stewart with an ADP of 212.
Okay.
And the reason I'm liking the chance here, probably more as a corner infield than my locked-in first baseman, is you look at Stewart's profile, like throughout the minors, tons of pop, and he runs a ton too. We're talking about looking for steals at the position. The dude's had double-digit steals every level of the minors. He had 17 in AAA last year with his 20 home runs. He hit 309. He's hit 290 or better in most stops in the minor leagues. He struck out less than 16% in almost every stop in the minor leagues. The first cup of coffee, 18 games. He had a 26% K rate, but still hit 5 home runs. And at 255, was it elite? No, but over those 58 plate appearances, we saw a guy with a 17.5% barrel rate and a 53% hard hit rate. Yeah. So when he was making contact, he was still crushing the baseball. He had a 30% home run fly ball in that ballpark. If we're talking young guys that can take another step and at an ADP of 212, I'm starting to warm up to the idea that he's playing DH primarily with chances to play first base for Cincinnati from everything like the beat reporters say / the moves the Reds aren't making. And if he does play 145 to 160 games, that power speed combo and actually a good hit tool, so hits for average, we can be talking about him as a top 10 guy. So I'm very intrigued by Sal Stewart.
And I think just looking at Sal Stewart compared to the first baseman going around him in terms of ceiling, higher ceiling than Alec Burleson, who's going right in front of him, higher ceiling than Torque, higher ceiling than Walker, higher ceiling than Aranda, Yandy Diaz. I might stop the higher ceiling at Michael Busch, but to your point, that's a roughly top 10 first baseman.
Because check this out. His projection, it's only 18 homers. But they're projecting that over.
It's probably not full playing time.
113 games. So let's just say he plays full time. Now we're talking more towards 30. His projection's almost identical to Bryce Harper's.
Yep.
it's just, I know we're playing the what if game, but we're also playing a what if at ADP 212.
And also the what if is like, yes, Sal Stewart needs to show he can stick in the big leagues over, a full season. But again, that's why the price is cheap. But that's pretty, like, I think if Sal Stewart hits, he's going to play. I mean, that would be my last question to you is like, because I think Spencer Steer is one of my picks outside of 20 plus.
Yeah.
Is there room for both Spencer Steer
That's
and Sal Stewart for everyday
That's
play?
what I was saying. I was nervous about it at first, but it
Yeah.
seems like everywhere you turn and read and everything, they're locking Stewart into DH. Like he's their DH. And he can move to first base when hopefully Spencer Steer takes over for Gavin Lux or somebody in the outfield. Like Steer's played tons of outfield in the past as well. So I really think there's a world to keep Stewart. Like you said, if he hits, they're going to find a way. Like he's going to be there. So I'm willing to take that chance at 212.
Yeah, I mean, you look at, the minor league. I've got the minor league leaderboard up from last year for Sal Stewart, dude, in AAA. It's a 21% barrel rate last year for Sal Stewart, a 164 WRC plus in AAA. So
he was 21 last year. 21.
Yeah, I mean, there are it looks like from a scouting perspective, Chris Blessing wrote up Sal Stewart in the Baseball Forecaster. It looks like there may be some issues with breaking balls in the majors. I mean, there's always going to be issues with guys who haven't played before and aren't like elite top prospects. So that's why the price is there. And who knows? Maybe, Sal Stewart hasn't seen many major league breaking pitches. So give him a shot. Let's see.
Yep. Willing to find out. Let's go 21 through 30 here. It's ADP 238 to 338, 100 picks in these 10 guys. Kyle Manzardo, your aforementioned Spencer Steer, Lennon Sosa, Luis Ariz, Jake Berger, Miguel Vargas, Andrew Vaughn, Ryan O'Hearn, Nolan Schanuel, and Tristan Casas. All right, Ryan, who is your top one here? You actually just mentioned him.
Just mentioned him. It's Oregon Ducks / Cincinnati Red, Spencer Steer. So yeah, I asked the question: is there room for both Sal Stewart and Steer? I agree with you. I think there is room for both in Cincinnati's lineup, and I just think Spencer Steer is getting way down a little bit too much from. He wasn't even supposed to, I think, make opening day last year, and he had a pretty bad shoulder injury, and the first half was just pretty rough. Had just 9 homers, hit 250, so not bad, but the skills pretty much universally took a big step forward for Spencer Steer in the second half, improved the strikeout rate, improved the contact quality, and it was all hidden by like a super, super low BABIP in the second half. Spencer Steer hit 222 in the second half. And I just think when the results tank, but the skills look better coming off an injury like that, I think Spencer Steer is being penalized pretty harshly by the market at a price of 241. I think if you can get 20 plus homers, 10 plus steals, and isn't going to be a batting average asset, but could, I don't know, hit 240. I think that's a really nice profile for someone at that price. That 240 batting average is also his ADP. So I like it.
Yeah, it's the batting average. If he can hit 240, like you got to steal, to your point. So like I've got a decent, like I circle him as my second first baseman if I can in a lot of these early draft and holds. I don't mind Spencer Steer at all. Like I said, I'm warming to Stewart, so I'm starting to kind of veer that direction, but zero problems with Spencer Steer whatsoever, especially when I think he will end up playing a ton of outfield at some point this season. So you got that flexibility to enjoy as well.
Yep.
All right, for me, I'm going with Kyle Manzardo. This was a big name last year, and it started out ugly, but it finished rather well. Manzaro's got an ADP of 238, hit 234 last year, 27 bombs. That part's a little worrisome, but when you dig in more on Manzardo, it was a tale of two halves and a tale where the platooning kind of slowed down in the second half towards the end. He hit 217 in the first half, hit 256 in the second half of the season. That was big. He hit 12 of his 27 home runs the second half of the season and 60 fewer plate appearances. So power was still pretty much the same, but the fact he kept playing more and more, which was a big, big sign to me. And the batting average took a massive boost for Kyle Manzardo in the second half. Now, will they still platoon him? We'll see, because he was very dreadful versus lefties. There's no denying that whatsoever. He had a $186 on the season versus lefties. That is not good. But again, how much, I have it right in front of me, I can tell you. It was only 95 plate appearances versus lefty compared to 436 versus righties. They limited him until late in the season, so I'm trying to get at. He got his chances late, so we'll see where that goes. But I love the improvements we saw from Manzardo, and I think more to come, especially if they start really letting him play every single day. Like this season, like they finished last season, there's a lot to like with Manzardo and the Cleveland Guardians.
Gained 14 pounds of muscle, apparently.
Yeah, I heard that. Good on him, I guess.
Hopefully.
Yeah,
that's a lot of muscle.
That's a ton of muscle.
I don't know. I think in your podcast with James Anderson, he was pretty high in Manzardo as well.
He was very high in Manzardo. Yes. Yep. For those wondering, that was Bench with Bubba episode 799 that dropped on Wednesday.
I listened to it today. It was excellent. So it covered a lot of second year, third year type guys, which is an undercovered niche in the industry. It was good stuff. James is the man.
James is the man. All right. I can't wait to hear where you're going with this one.
Why?
Because like I mentioned in the Discord, I mentioned it with James. I don't know what to do with this guy.
I don't know either, but the price is so cheap that it doesn't matter. Draft him.
Like, is he even ready to play? Is he even ready to play?
I don't know. Who cares?
That's my thing. That's my point. I have no idea.
So this is Tristan Casas who we're talking about. And Tristan Casas is like, I don't want to say one of the more polarizing, but like, I don't know. Britain's already been in the chat tonight. Why do people love Tristan Casas? Preservius has responded, has ADP at 338, which is what I just mentioned. Think it's a stretch to say people love him. I just think this is a pure, like, maybe this goes against like my, boring is beautiful, old type ethos. But at pick 338, you're looking for shots. You're taking shots, and you're taking shots for upside. When Tristan Casas has actually done this in the major leagues, like if Tristan Casas had an ADP of 200 and there were better alternatives, I'd be like, no. But the two first basemen going ahead of Tristan Casas are Ryan O'Hearn and Nolan Shanwell. Like, this is the part of the draft where I want to take a shot on somebody, and I'm gonna do it with Casas. If it doesn't work out, it really doesn't burn me much at all, especially in fab leagues. So that's really why. There's no real like statistical reason why I should expect Tristan Casas to be really good at this price, other than he's done it before. And it was 2 years ago and injuries, but I don't know. I just why wouldn't you find out at this price?
Yeah, if you want to make it one of your handful of chances, I get it in that regard. I was wondering if you had something else to know, because I don't know if he's healthy. I don't know if the Red Sox even want him to play because they feel like they're trying to trade him everywhere he turns. I'm torn on a million factors there. Yep. But to your point, when healthy, he's pretty good. So I get where you're going with it. I just, like I said, I don't know what to do with him because I don't know.
He's still just 26. I mean, 2 years ago, it was a 270 batting average, 24 home runs. And Tristan Casas was has been our biggest fade at the position the last 2 years.
That's worse.
But he's been a top 100 ADP though, and now he's 338, and he's still 26. I don't care what the name is. If you have anybody who was 26 years old, has a really good MLB season under his belt, has been a top 100 pick, and you're able to get him outside the 300, like just that profile is attractive for me.
Look at you talking up 26-year-olds. Look at you.
Man,
Look at you.
Yeah.
All right, let's go Jake Berger for me for my second one here, because honestly, I wasn't like in love with anybody else in this range.
No,
it's like I like some guys. I have shares because you just want depth in a draft and hold, but it's also like at that point in the draft, there's a lot of the stuff's kind of murky in this pocket. It feels like when I'm looking at ADP. So there wasn't a ton here, so I'm gonna go Jake Berger just for the fact that we've talked about it before. Is he's been hurt a lot, obviously, in recent seasons, and that could hurt him again this year. So I think that's just a given. But he's hit his 16 home runs over 103 games. We know if he plays his 135 plus, he's like a 30 home run bat. Hits around 250. Like, we know who Jake Berger is. That's where I'm getting with this. And at that ADP, so it kind of goes back to like he's 30, he's not 26 like Tristan Casas. But at least we know for now Jake Berger is actually healthy, which again, for how long, who knows. But you look at this roster, like last year he was platooning at first base. There's no one there right now. Like, there's no one there in Texas. That Texas roster is abysmal. They should make some more moves, you'd hope. but it's bad. It's a very bad team. So Berger should be in line, barring health, for 140 plus games again. Which, if he does that, we know who he is. Like he's a monster. And before his last injury he had last year, he actually was starting to barrel the ball and show the Berger signs of life again, like we've seen. So to your point, like with Casas at 338, with Berger at 280, I'm cool taking that chance there. Like we're in. He's the starting first baseman right now. He's healthy as of right now. I'll take my chances.
It's just interesting to see Jake Berger's projection, 246, 28 home runs, identical to Michael Busch, 248 batting average, 28 home runs. Same projection, 180 picks later. So,
yeah, Busch will run more, but yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Not much, but
Not much
I'd still take Bush's team context over.
Well, yeah, but I'm just making.
No, it's a fair
argument.
point.
It's like all Jake Berger needs to do is stay healthy. That's been a challenge for him the last couple of years.
Yeah, I think most people would agree. Like if he's healthy, he's easily a top 15 first baseman. Like that's where he was going roughly last year, if I remember correctly. So, like I think most people, without being just complete, trying to troll us, would agree with that. So
who would want to troll us? Come on.
Oh, line up, buddy. Line up. All right, let's get to the Discord questions here before we wrap up our thoughts on the position as usual, because the folks, they brought it once again. Let me get to the actual listener questions here as I clicked on the wrong tab. There we are. All right. Adam 7 says, since first base is next, who do you prefer between Vladdy and Kurtz? Does it differ at all by format? Vlad has better health history for a draft and hold or Gladiator? I think we're both Vladdy on that one.
Yep. Team Vlad.
Yep. Team Vlad on that one. TDK says, what's your build where Luis Ariz makes sense? Y'all hardly ever go that route, but just curious. Yeah, usually 2 bottles of Fireball. Yeah, no, it's, you need, as Ben mentioned on there, is not the tofu build. That's for sure. That is true. Like you need to go for all the powerhouses. Like if you do draft Nick Kurtz and Luis Ariz is your corner infield, that could work.
Yeah. I mean, you just have to pair. There is a path to do it. It's just that we don't build the teams that way. But yeah, you could start with like a Kyle Schwarber and Ellie De La Cruz. You could have a Chandler Simpson. Like you just need the extreme guys in the other categories to build with Luis Ariz. I mean, the other thing with Luis Ariz, he is going to play every day. So, I mean, just in my 15 team brain, that works at Luis Ariz' price tag. I don't know. I can't get over the lack of counting stats.
Yeah, like no counting stats at all. That's the worst part. Like, at least steal bases for me or something. Just nothing. Like to me, Chandler Simpson's more valuable than Luis Ariz. So it's tough. It's a tough world out there. ADP is different too, though.
Yep.
All right. BP says, I have Michael Busch in a keeper league, so I'm looking for a breakout. What do you think that can look like? Yeah, we're pretty 40-plus home runs, as you said.
Yeah, that could look very nice. And yeah, to the baseball forecaster's point, it could look like a 260, 270 batting average with 40 home runs.
Beautiful. Mailman Mike says, I'm not ready to bury Tristan Casas yet. What are your thoughts? You mentioned that a second ago.
Yeah, we're back.
Yeah, your back as back can be. Matt said, Aranda over Yandy this year? ?
Yeah, we haven't really talked Aranda. Have you looked at him much?
Yes, he doesn't do it for me. I think he benefited tremendously by that ballpark. Let's put it that way, for one. Because you look at Aranda, he had 14 home runs over 106 games, hit 316. The average is great. He had a 409 BABIP. So I'll let that one sink in for a second.
Wow, 409. Like that's...
Yeah, 409 BABIP. He hit 345 at home, 290 on the road. He did have 10 of his 14 home runs on the road, so that's a plus. But he benefited a lot from that ballpark.
Yeah. I think there's some power upside there. You mentioned the 14 home runs. Forecaster gave him 19 expected home runs with
he had a ton of power upside in the minors.
Barrel rate. Yeah.
A lot of optimism there.
Could reach 20 home runs, but it ain't coming with anything close to a 300 batting average.
No, so that's why I haven't really seen who the real Aranda is yet. So I'd rather have Yandy, who we actually know who he is.
Agreed.
So. Mark Jordan, if Polanco plays enough first base to qualify, where would you fit him on this board? That is a really good question. Because he's supposed to play first base potentially for the Mets, which is insane. But yes,
I just don't trust the health for all that Polanco did for the Mariners down the stretch. Like, what's Polanco's ADP right now?
Do
So
we have
he's
an ADP
going
tracker
near.
that can show us that?
His ADP last month is 252. So Polanco's going around like Spencer Steer, Lennon Sosa, Jake
Ooh.
Berger, Manzardo.
I'd
I
him
would
like
have
my
him
fourth.
below Manzardo, below Steer, below Berger, maybe with Sosa, something like that.
Okay. We shall see. I haven't clicked the Polanco button yet this season because of the
I haven't
health
either.
concerns.
My hamstring tightens up when I try and click Jorge Polanco's
We know your
name.
hamstrings have not been healthy, so that makes sense. Mailman Mike, he says, who are some first basemen that didn't make the board that you would speculate on?
Like deep first base. Big Red? That's your guy, though. I want to take him from you. Ryan Clifford.
No, you got guys like Mountcastle's out now with Pete Alonso, but like you mentioned it on the recap, I think at first base, if Rhys Hoskins signs somewhere, that could be interesting.
Yeah, Josh Bell did sign somewhere. That was your pick.
I love Josh Bell.
Josh Bell's a great pick.
I rank Josh Bell 20th at first base for me. So
I'll do a sneaky Jared Triolo in draft and holds just because
Jared Triolo
was better in the second half. I think he's going to play every day, and he qualifies at first, third, and shortstop. Like that is super valuable. Cody Clemens could be valuable as a streamer. Also qualifies at second and outfield. So there's a couple other names. Josh Smith could qualify everywhere yet again. He I think is just off this list at an ADP around 350. So a couple other names there.
The one I'll throw out there because Josh Bell is probably my top one in that range, but a name that's been bandied about a ton by teams that are cheap looking for a first baseman right now. So this is purely like a 400 plus ADP that might play a ton. Paul Goldschmidt's out there. Just gonna throw it. Just put that on the table.
Look at you.
A lot of teams are talking about him. Like when you're talking DCs, you just want playing time, and he still hit 274. The power wasn't there, but he still hit 274. So if he can find a little bit more power again at his ADP, like he's better than probably like 7 or 8 guys we talked about tonight.
I got to get a team with Freddie and Goldschmidt on there. Come on. Tim the Toolman's down here too. Very late in DCs. Very late, but qualifies at first, second, and outfield. Has the tools. Tim Tawa, that is.
All right. Brendan says Devers' batting average projections feel awfully light given his career 270 hitter, even though he hit 236 with the Giants. Was that tough luck mixed with the difficulty of changing leagues, moving across the country midseason, or ballpark related? He had a ton of swing and miss. We talked about this in depth.
It's the strikeouts.
Review. Yeah, strikeouts went through the roof because he actually was better as this season went on with the Giants. Like he's had some hiccups. It was all swing and miss for Rafi Devers, which was confusing. That maybe is a future problem, but it was definitely out of nowhere. Dustin Anderson says, in what scenario is anyone using Rice or Perez at their first base absent catastrophic injuries? So just originally out the gate playing them at first base, not very many.
Agreed.
D. Sawa says, what's realistic expectation for Eldridge this year as far as playing time performance and when he becomes first base eligible? That ain't looking great right now. It's like such a mixed bag of news coming out of there. First off, like he's in trade rumors, which is insane for me to think about. They say his defense is better than Devers, but Devers we know likes to play in the field, not at DH. So maybe that's why they want to trade Eldridge. They don't want to deal with that headache. I don't know, but in a perfect world, Eldridge is first base eligible in 2 weeks, but it feels like it might be a lot longer than that.
Okay, you would know.
It's a lot of weird stuff coming out. Like they want to play Eldridge every day. They love his defense, but it requires Rafi to DH.
We saw that. I feel like this is deja vu.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Here we go again. That's what this comes down to.
Interesting.
So. Adam W says, any optimism about a Jake Burger bounce back? Oh, hell yes.
Oh, hell yeah. Fire up those Bubba burgers. Throw them on the grill.
Are back on the menu. They're back on the menu, folks.
Yeah, we're back.
Double Bubba burger. You never know.
Yeah, until the Bubba burgers get E. coli and go back on the IL.
Easy. It's more like mad cow disease. Dustin Anderson says Kyle Manzardo has supposedly gained 15 pounds of muscle. Will there be a weirder headline this offseason? Oh, most likely, because usually like someone like that looks like the Panda will have lost 35 pounds or something. That'll be your headline.
Yeah.
Best shape of their life. We haven't seen a whole lot of best shape of their lives yet. That's coming up. That's starting reporting to camp.
I saw a Marcelo Zuna side shot the other day. It wasn't
no, he looked a lot more like me than a professional baseball player.
Yeah, it wasn't promising.
Yep. Britton Allen says Michael Busch hit 34 home runs last year, and his StatCast page is blood red. Steamer has 24 home runs projected for him. Why does Steamer hate Michael Busch? Steamer hates playing time.
Yeah, I don't think it's hating Michael Busch. I think it's I don't have the projection in front of me, and that's why we're not using Steamer on this show. It's because their playing time is all screwed up. So Fangraphs depth charts has Michael Busch at 28, which I would still take the over on. That is over 616 plate appearances. Steamer, for whatever reason, has Michael Busch at 526 plate appearances. So that's why you're only getting 24 homers.
Agreed. Canton Dog says any first base prospects on the horizon who could break out like Kurtz did in 2025. The only one I can think off the top of my head is Clifford. If he gets the playing time, he's got that kind of pop. But other than that, let me pull up prospect stuff. I don't know if you have anybody.
I don't. I am horrific with prospects.
We're not prospect guys to begin with, but I can try to pull something up here real quick.
And I don't think there will be another Nick Kurtz. Like oh,
that was freakish.
I know Sokolsky likes Jonathan Long a lot, but Jonathan Long has a long path to playing time.
Well played.
First base with the Cubs. So,
yeah, like technically South Stewart qualifies if you want to go that direction, but
Big Bob,
yeah,
Bob Seymour.
Dude, he's in freaking Japan or something. He bounced. He got DFA'd and took off.
He's in Japan.
No, he's in Asia. He got DFA'd. He's gone.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, I'm not kidding.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, Jonathan Long actually looks pretty good here, but that's the Cubs. That's Michael Busch's situation, so that's tough. I don't see a whole lot doing what you're looking for there.
Big Bob's over in Old Tom's neck of the woods. Yeah,
that's
MPB.
Yeah.
Wow. Adios.
Yep. See you, buddy. We'll see you in 3 years. Lucas Beery says, who is the best first baseman you are happy with as your CI? Or the last first baseman.
Yeah. Great question. I will go. I'll say Berger at 280. Steer at 240. That late. Those guys.
Yeah, it's basically that Spencer Steers where I cut it off, but I'll throw Berger in there because I think he's better than the 280. So yeah. And as Michael C in the chat said, Eldridge is the closest. Yeah, Eldridge could put up Kurtz. If anybody could, it'd be Eldridge, but again, I don't think you're going to get a Kurtz anywhere. But Eldridge is that good. He's freakish good. We got a few more here. Richard Sands says, who is your favorite in-game DC first baseman? It seems like it thins out, but maybe you still need one past pick 600. Oof.
Yeah, post 600. That's Tim the Toolman Tawa. That's Christian Encarnacion Strand. I would take a shot at, and I have. You mentioned Curtis Mead on the post 500 ADP show, so qualifies at first and third base and could get regular playing time. So those are a few. I mean, these are deep cuts for DCs, which is the question, but those are three names: Tim Tawa, CES, Curtis Mead that I would throw out there.
Yeah, I like Mead as that you mentioned. I like all those Tawa, especially for his flexibility. The only other one I'd mention, because it feels like he might get playing time right now. I don't love him by any means, but he could run into probably 25 home runs if he plays. It's Blaine Krim for the Rockies.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Jake Bauers.
No, I like Jake Bauers, but like Krim, if he actually plays enough on that team, that could pan out. Like, again, just last minute death shots.
The mighty
Welch says, B. Welch says, doesn't have to be fantasy related. Who's your favorite first baseman of all time and why? Mine is right back there.
Yeah,
see that one.
For those watching, Bubba literally has a Will Clark jersey hanging behind. It's like his only podcast thing. So
it's been there since the inception of this room. So actually, it was there in my other room too. It's been
It
behind
was
me
in your old
recording for a
room
long
too.
time.
It was your
Yeah.
Twitter. I'm old enough to remember it was your Twitter header or your
Yeah,
Twitter
Will Clark in the
picture.
dugout.
Yeah,
No, he's
for years.
I
back in
I
the day.
used to wear eye black. I would write 22 in all T-ball Little League jerseys before they had numbers on them. Like, yeah, look, I mimicked his stance. Played first base. Still play first base and softball. Like, yeah, Clark's my guy.
I don't really have like a childhood team like you did. But I'll go Mighty Mo. I just love watching Mo Vaughn.
He was
Just
a big,
mash.
jolly fellow.
Yeah, like he was just
Had
fun to watch, dude.
Had a wad of beech nut in his cheek every time he was out there. Good Lord. Like,
I like Mighty Mo. He was, and I remember because I was a little bit of a Mets fan growing up, just because my brother liked the Yankees, and that's what we do. We go against that. And when Mo Vaughn signed with the Mets, I got all excited, and then it didn't end that well.
Yeah, Mo Vaughn's not bad. I like that one. There's been a lot of good first basemen. That was what here it was off air or on. It had to be on air when James was talking about all those power hitting steroid era first base on air. Yeah, there's a lot of good first basemen to like at least enjoy watching back in the day. And then that's about it. Scott B. Burks is just commenting on something. So I made through the questions.
A lot of questions. Good stuff, people.
Yep, keep them coming. Makes this thought process go a lot better. So then we'll wrap it up there. What is your final thought on the position?
Yeah. So to recap it real quick, I really like the top 10, 11 at this position. I would like to try and grab one of those hitters ending with Michael Busch at roughly ADP 110. I'm fine grabbing Yandy Diaz a little bit later. If not, you've got some options with Christian Walker and others around that 200 range. So I think go take one in the top 110. And I think you get a decent corner around 200 too.
Yeah, I like the top three a ton, especially the Vladdy Alonso. He's been my top two easily, but the more we talk this through, and this is why I like doing a lot of these early drafts to kind of feel out builds to see how I like them. I kind of want to start targeting a little bit of that next pocket of like Olson, Devers, or even waiting till like the Naylor, Vinnie P world. Like start playing around with where can I get a first baseman and see where the rest of the team builds. And then our second tier, as we talked about, as you mentioned, stopping about Spencer Steer. But there's that big gap. That's the one thing to remember. Take that away from this is if you're playing the first base game and you don't get one of the early ones, it's a big gap, but don't wait too long because you might get stuck holding the bag at the same time because it does drop off. So
yeah,
that'd be the final thought I'd have on that.
Not many being taken in the 100s at all.
No, it's not a popular position in the top 100 or in the 100 to 200. Sorry.
Yep.
All right, we'll wrap it up there. Remember, if you want to get it in the listener leagues and you meet the criteria we mentioned at the top of the show, hit us up. Let us know. We'll get you on the list as we start to put that together and get the ball rolling there. Again, this is the last live show of the regular season. We'll have at least one, probably one each of the next 2 weeks to get you through the holidays before coming back with more positional previews. So the recorded shows will not be positional previews as well. We'll mention that.
Yeah,
those will always be live unless something else happens. But those,
we'll let you all sink in. There was some talk in the Discord, people falling behind a little bit on the shows, and we will let you sink into catcher and first base over the holidays, and we'll come back January with second base. But we'll do a couple fun fill-ins in between.
Yep. So we'll have you covered as usual. Join the Patreon. We'll be in the Discord, even though we'll be recording. We'll be in there. So don't worry about that. We got some other things coming up for you guys here in the next couple of weeks that I think will be pretty exciting as well. So until then, make sure you follow Ryan on Twitter at RyanBHQ, the podcast at Bubba Bloom Pod, on Patreon at patreon.com/Bubba Bloom. I'm on Twitter at BDentric. This was Bubba and the Bloom, episode 304. Catch y'all next time.